know? I mean, who knows?
Okay, you can start.
Okay, sir. Hello. Hello. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, Nitish, you continue.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my technical seminar presentation on YOLO version 4. These are the contents I will be covering in today's presentation. First is the introduction on YOLO v4 and why it is required, and the literature survey I did, and the YOLO v4 architecture and the working of YOLO v4 algorithm, and pros and cons of that, and finally the conclusion. Let's introduce why object recognition required. See, object recognition is a critical part of various automation application. In order to reap the full benefits of that, we have to detect objects in a real time. That is, real-time object recognition is very much required to serve the automation purpose in various fields. So why YOLO V4 actually? Here you can see the accuracy, the average precision and frame rate per second of YOLO V4. Here there are so many algorithms for the comparison. Here you can see the efficient det and ATSS or ASFF. Here you can see when the frame rate is increased, the average precision is decreased. When the frame rate is let us say 20 frames per second, the precision was around 46%. But if we want a real-time object detection, we need FPS of above 45 frames per second. So you can see if we want 50 or 60 frames per second, the precision will go down to like 34%. And here is the YOLO version 4. Here it's a well-balanced algorithm between accuracy and frame rate per second. For example, let us see for 60 frames per second, it is giving average precision of 44%. It's a good recognition system in real world application. And this is the literature survey I have done. I have initially the creator of YOLO is the Joseph Redman. He created YOLO in 2015. He published the YOLO research paper first in 2015. And due to some ethical issues and some military application and privacy concerns, Joseph Redman have stopped the researching on computer vision in 2019. Then in 2020, in 2019, Alex Wachowski came to picture, and he took over the YOLO project, and he released the next version, that is YOLO V4. And this is how the YOLO architecture looked like. Here you can see there is 4-part actually, including 2-stage detector. It is 5-part. The first part is input, then backbone, then neck, then dense prediction, then sparse prediction. In backbone, what happens is the feature extraction will happen in backbone, and the collection of feature maps from different stages will happen in neck part, and object detection and classification and the bounding box prediction happens in dense prediction as well as sparse prediction. Sparse prediction is optional. If we want to increase the accuracy of some specific objects, we will use sparse prediction, or else the dense prediction is enough for us. Here I told you about the input, backbone, neck, and dense prediction. Let us see what are each components has, what are the roles of each components in this architecture. Yes, in input, here you can see one image can be given to image can be as an act as an input to the architecture, or we can give image pyramid. Image pyramid basically is, as the picture itself suggests, that same image in different resolutions can be given to the network in order to increase the accuracy. This is an option of input layer. Then the backbone, it is the part of an improvement. What we are seeing in YOLO, these are not in YOLO V3 actually. This is the improvised version in YOLO V3. That's why it's called YOLO V4. There is in that backbone there is 3 blocks. One is bag of freebies, and second one is bag of specials, and third one is the CSP Darknet 53. This is the convolutional neural network we are using. See, bag of freebies is used to increase the accuracy by increasing the data into the convolutional neural network. So bag of freebies consist of data augmentation methods like photometric distortion, geometric distortion, mix up, and cut mix. If I brief about this is the photometric distortion means the rearrangement of, or introducing the noise to an image is called photometric distortion. Geometric distortion means see, for example, there is an image. If we rotate and given it as a separate image as an input to the layer, it will be the data will be augmented like that. The data will be manipulated like in that way to increase the data. Then mix up means collection of several images and making a collage and creating a different image from the image set we have. That's called mix up. Then cut mix means cropping a single image and mixing up the various parts and attaching them again to create a single image is called cut mix. Then in Backbone, we have bag of specials. This bag of specials is, there is one activation formula, that is MISH activation formula. It's called MISH because Mr. Mishra has invented this MISH activation formula. He had proposed this formula, and the authors of this YOLOv4 research paper have accepted, and they included this formula in this. What activation formula exactly is? I said we are using convolutional neural networks. In convolutional neural networks, there are input layer, hidden layers, several hidden layers are there. In this specific example, we are using Darknet 53. It has 53 hidden layers, 53 convolutional layers. So what is the actual form? What the formula does is, while the input is going on one layer to another layer, between that some operation had to be some operation had to be done with that layer by assigning some weights or by doing some operation on the data. So this formula lies in between the hidden layers and the convolutional layers. In between, while traversing every value in that image, here the every pixel value will be manipulated and passed on to the next layer. Then CSP Darknet 53. As I said, it is a convolutional neural network framework we are using. This is derived from the Darknet. The 53 means it has 53 convolutional layers. Each convolutional layer has several filters. These filters are used to detect and recognize objects in that image. And the specialty of CSP Darknet is it employs CSPNet strategy to partition the feature map of base layer into two parts and then merges them through a cross-stage hierarchy. That's why it's called cross-stage partial architecture. That is CSP Darknet 53. Then coming to the next, yes, it is the part where and it is also called as detector. Here the feature maps from different stages will be collected, and the SPP in next part they are using SPP, means that is spatial pyramid pooling. It is a pooling layer fixed. It is a pooling layer. Basically, the use of this is in YOLOv4. There is no constraint for an input image to be of fixed resolution. Means in YOLOv4, one of the advantages, we can give any size of image with any irrespective of the resolution of image. That's why the SPP is used. The advantage of this is, let's say if you want fixed size, then the image will be reduced or resized, and many operations should be done. So to avoid that, to maintain the quality of the image, we are using spatial pyramid pooling. This is just an add-on layer on top of the convolutional layers in order to extract the required size of output to take it as an input to the neural network. Why spatial pyramiding? This is what why spatial pyramid pooling. This is what I have explained right now. SPP is able to generate fixed length output regardless of input size. As I said, the YOLO V4 is very robust. It can take any any size of input image, like it can be of any resolution. But convolutional neural networks needs fixed length. So yeah, we are using SPP to mitigate this risk. And SPP uses multiple spatial bins, while the sliding window pooling uses only single window size. Multiple level pooling has been shown to be robust to object deformation. And SPP can pool features extracted at variable scales thanks to the flexibility of input scales. Then coming to the head part, as I said, head is where the prediction and recognition and the bounding boxes will be categorized, and the objects will be classified. And one thing is, if there is a dense prediction, YOLO V4 has some flexibility to encourage developers to experiment with their architecture. So we can use SSD with YOLO V4 architecture, or RetinaNet, or CornerNet, or MatrixNet, or ResNet. Various kinds of things we can include in the head part, or else we can simply use YOLO. If we want dense prediction, means several if we want per pixel prediction, means for every pixel we want prediction, then it is also possible in dense prediction. Sparse prediction means a part of an image will be taken out, and that part only and in that part only the image will be detected, or the object will be recognized. For that sparse prediction, we can use RCNN, faster RCNN, mask, and rep points, like that. And coming to the pros and cons, as I said, the process frames at the rate of 45 FPS, and it can even process the frames at even bigger rate, like 100 FPS also. If the GPU is well and good, the 45 FPS is the minimum it can do. And as I said, the network is able to generalize the input image better. Means, as I said, using YOLO algorithm, the generalization of image is broadly happened, as the YOLO predicts every the YOLO predicts 3 predictions for every part of the segmented image. That is, there will, if one image is there, then there will be we can be segregated into S by S grids. Means we can divide that image into 3 into 3 grids. That will be 7 segments will be there. So for each segment there will be 3 predictions. So not much of confusion will be happened, since the predictions will be limited. So it can be generalize the image better. Then comparatively low recall and more localization error compared to faster RCNN. Yes, due to the limitations in the predictions, it can be a low recall rate and more localization. Means there can be errors, because as I said, there will be lesser predictions compared to other algorithms. It have this problem like localization error. Means it will predict same thing again and again. Then struggles to detect close object. If the object in the image will be zoomed in, then if the YOLO will segregate into 9 segments to that image, then it will be a difficult task for YOLO to detect objects in that image. And the struggle to detect small objects, because as I said, there will be 3 predictions for every segments of that segmented image. So if there is one small object, and if it is divided into 4 segments, let us say there is one small point, it is an object, and it will be segmented into 4 parts. So there is high probability that object will be not detected. These are the main pros and cons of the YOLO V4. And conclusion, yes, YOLO V4 is a state-of-the-art detector which is faster and more accurate than all available alternative detectors. And it offers a very good trade-off between frame rates and accuracy. Then the detector is can be trained using conventional GPU. This is the main advantage of it, and it makes broad use possible. And it can be for future development and future further practice. We can use it very easily. And these are all the references I have gone through. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Nitish, is there any real-time application of the YOLO?
Hello. Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Is there any real-time application?
Yes, ma'am. We in our project we are using YOLO algorithm, but we are using YOLO version 3 since it is more stable. Yeah, ma'am.
No, not like that. In existence, is there any particular application which is using YOLO?
In existing systems.
Yeah, in real time, if it is being used.
I haven't come through.
There are several things now which does object recognition. So, is there anything which has adopted YOLO?
Is there anything which was adopted by YOLO, ma'am?
Which has adopted YOLO?
Various automation means if they are using for example, if there are developers which are who are using RCNN and they are using YOLO now because this offers better accuracy and precision over a trained over a period of time, because faster RCNN it's not efficient for real-time detection as it was it has very frame rate per second. For nowadays, so for real-time application, YOLO is the best algorithm.
Okay, fine. Actually, you heard the first time in Arno that was based on autonomous vehicle recognition, the same driving, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So like that, I'm asking if YOLO is being used somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Your answer to the question, what madam is asking, whatever the answer you are giving, it's not appropriate.
Sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry, ma'am. I can't heard properly, ma'am. Can you please repeat it, ma'am? Sorry for that.
See, I just asked in case if at present YOLO is being used anywhere.
Yes, ma'am. It's using in it was using in automation where the real-time object detection is used. Let us say autonomous cars and self-driving cars, or any second, and many of the military applications. In many of military applications, they are using YOLO for the purpose of detecting whether they for the purpose of detecting enemies or any arms in that other side. They are sending drones and collecting data and processing with YOLO algorithm.
Okay, fine. Okay, just try to find out the other applications.
Okay.
Okay.
Nitesh.
Yes, sir.
Okay, for example, an image is consisting of some 10 to 20 objects, whether YOLO will detect all the 20 objects?
Yes, sir. YOLO will detect, sir, but one constraint is there. It will predict only 27 predictions. Means it will make only 27 predictions per image. So if there is 20 objects, there is a probability that 44% means I think 12 objects will be correctly detected according to the research paper. And at the rate of 45 frames per second. Sir.
Sorry, it's 27 objects. Up to 27 objects you can detect.
Sir, it will make 27 predictions per image if the grid size will be let's say SNTS, that is 3x3 grid size will be taken into network. If
Mhm.
then it will be around 27 predictions, and if there are 20 objects are there, then it will make 27 prediction. Out of that, 44% will be correct at 45 frames per second. Then it will come out to around 12 to 13 correct predictions it will make, sir.
Sorry. If there are 20 objects, it will make 27 predictions.
Yes, sir. Irrespective of object.
What do you mean prediction? What do you mean prediction? Recognizing the object or what?
Sir, recognizing and classifying the object, irrespective of the number of object, it will make that number of predictions, sir.
Even if there are only 2 objects, even it will give 27 predictions.
Yes, sir. For each cell, it will make some random predictions based upon the confidence score. It will finalize the or classifies the prediction, and it will give one output.
So accuracy rate is only 45%.
Sir, it is 44% for 45 FPS for
Just
MS.
go to the slide and then talk.
Okay.
Go to the particular slide and then talk. Then you can also justify.
Yes, sir. This is the one I was talking about. Here you can see around 43% average precision for 60 FPS is there. This is for MS COCO datasets. So. Hello. Hello.
Okay. Why they have fixed only 27 predictions? You cannot increase these predictions, the number of predictions.
Sir, basically, in the paper they have said that we can manipulate that, but the best for YOLO V4 is 3x3 grid. Means every image will be segmented into 9 parts. We can manipulate by programming, but it is best. The best is 3x3 grid.
हाँ sir. Sorry, your voice is not clear. Hello. Hello.
Sir.
Any other questions?
Nitish, can you? Yeah, sir, I'm here. Nitish, can you say some disadvantages of YOLO?
Ma'am, YOLO, as I said, every image will be segregated into 9 parts. If it means matrix, if there is one small object and it will and if it fits in a corner where 4 parts will be segregated, then the object will be segregated in 4 parts of that image. So there is a high probability that object will not detected.
Okay, so you want to say localization error is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I mean, like you spoke about YOLO version 3, version 4 and all.
Yes, ma'am.
Is YOLO 4 faster than YOLO version 3?
Yes, ma'am. It is faster and it is more accurate because they have included this bag of freebies and bag of specials. Basically, the bag of freebies is used for data augmentation. This increases the data sets. Let us say if there is only 10 data, let's say if there is only 10 images, if we perform data augmentation on that, we can generate 100 or even 200, 300 images of the same data set. So this will in turn increase the accuracy. This bag of freebies is not there in YOLO V3, and bag of specials also is not there in YOLO V3.
Okay. How many versions are there? Is it end for YOLO 4?
Now, there is one latest version of YOLO version 5, but the research paper was not published yet, and there are many inconsistencies there. So the stable version is currently is YOLO v4.
Okay. Okay, fine, cool.
Nitish,
I'm done from my end, sir.
Nitish,
Hello, yes, sir.
yeah, you said something about data augmentation, right?
Yes, sir.
That if you have 10 images, you can augment to 100 and 200, right?
Yes, sir.
So what did the paper say actually? Can I augment to 300? Like, is there any limit? Can I augment to 500 as well?
Yes, sir. You can augment using permutation and combinations of the given images. We can do that.
Yeah, that means there is no limit to data augmentation then, right?
Yes, sir.
Which are you talking of your experience or what was reported in the paper?
Sir, the paper, this bag of freebies they have introduced to increase the accuracy. They haven't talked about the quantum of the data augmentation they have done.
Yes, because you said here, so that was why I asked you, right?
Yes.
Like, see, with the bag of freebies, obviously, so I have 10 images, okay?
Yes.
Now, in data augmentation, fine, I can, if I keep doing distortion, and what do you mean by geometric distortion?
So geometric distortion means the geometry of the image will be distorted. Means if the image is in landscape, it will be slightly rotated to 60 degree, 30 degree like that. And it will be,
Yeah.
and it will be treated as separate image.
Yeah, okay, so from the practical point of view, if you have 10 images, you cannot augment that beyond 1,000, okay?
Okay.
Even 200 also is not advisable to go beyond that. You know why? Just imagine, say, I'm going to apply only 5 geometric transformations, okay?
Yes.
Okay, in between, even if I flip it, even if I rotate, even if I skew, even if I apply shear, whatever transform and or whatnot, a maximum I will get in each one, I'll get more 5 subsamples, right?
Yes,
so one image gives me maximum of 5 or 6. So after that, what I'm doing now is a mix-up. So those mix-up obviously will not guarantee, I get greater accuracy. It will actually overfit it. Because you see, once you run out of geometric transformation, right? What you keep doing now is trying to mix up, right? Cut and mix also is also the cut mix, okay?
Yes.
So it's not advisable to go beyond a particular threshold, right? So yeah, so I don't know whether the paper reported it, okay, but you said, yeah, they didn't give any specific number, right?
Yes, sir.
And that was just what I wanted to know. But otherwise, yeah, good, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I'm done.
Anand sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, ಅದೇ ಎಲ್ಲಾರ್ದು ಏನಾದ್ರು questions ಇದ್ರೆ ತಗೊಂಡು we will wind up the session. New complete
Okay.
sir.
Okay, any other questions from participants, faculties? Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you, Nitesh.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Lokesh sir, Sushma ma'am and Kavya ma'am. Victor sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir.